Hi guys, well it's that time of the week again, car booty time, yeah. I ended the last video, we were looking at a 486 DLC, which is like a supercharged 386, and I basically proved everything was working okay. The hard drive sounded like it was okay, old 420 megabyte Connor drive, but it wouldn't boot. Now, there was some discussion about that in the last video, whether the problem was the BIOS settings. I mean, I did auto detect it, and that's the board it came from. So you kind of assume it was auto detected before it was originally installed with an OS. It could be that isn't the case, which is why it won't boot. And I said I really need some other way to boot that machine. So I've not forgotten about that. I've just been really busy this week. If you've seen the videos I've made, I've been doing quite a bit of repair work. So I didn't have time, but I will do that. Hopefully for next time we'll have another look at that 486 DLC. So it's the end of the week. It's been a busy one. I find these videos quite relaxing to make, usually. So let's have a look at a bit more car booty and let me off for one more week over that one. Okay. So this is the first PC. It came like this. There's no side panels on it. This is how it's turned up. Well, it has a red motherboard. It says MSI on it. There's a fan on the chipset. Quite like to see that because it usually is some indication of a better quality board, which may be more sought after on the retro market. But then MSI is not particularly known to be like a really popular brand. It says 845 Pro 2. I might have seen this type of board before. Is this a AMD or a Pentium? I think this might be an AMD, this one. I keep getting this wrong, so I'm going to say AMD this time. And I'm going to have a look right now before I make myself look silly again, okay? So, what is this thing? Well, this thing is a bit hard to get off. You know what, guys? It is off. Oh, and it is a Pentium 4. Okay, so socket 478. It's not an AMD at all. Let's take the motherboard out. I mean, there's no hard drive in here. It's just a basic setup with motherboard. There's no RAM. We have a graphics card. We have a couple of add-on cards. So I'll take these out. We'll get them on the bench and have a close look at what we have here. So the motherboard itself, fairly clean. I mean, there's dust around here because obviously the CPU and fan were there. Probably just very quickly just brush a bit of that off, get it out of the way. It's just dust, it's not sticky or anything as such, okay? So just clean that up a little bit better. Fan is freely spinning, that's a good sign. A little bit of something on the socket there, but I don't think it's anything much to worry about. Quick wipe over, comes fairly clean. Okay. Yeah, there's like a little bit of corrosion or something. Just down in here on this one. So there was something actually on the top of the socket. I'm not sure what it was. It was almost like chocolate. Don't ask any further than that. Okay, yeah. Doesn't look bad anyway, but we can test the RAM slots, see if they're all working. Give it a clean, bit of ISO. Again, there's something on here. This looks like paper. Feels like paper. I think there was some sort of sticker or something on here that was holding the graphics card in place, maybe. Get a little bit of dust and stuff down here. I think I'll just give this a clean also. Probably a bit of ISO would help there. But we'll try it. The processor, seeing as I have the heatsink off, what is this? Pentium 4, probably quite an old one. 1.5 gigahertz, one of the early ones, okay. Another fairly good indication this is an early P4478. There's no SATA on it. It only has 2 USBs on it. CNR, which is pretty useless, but I actually have some cards that would fit in them now. They're just not very useful cards, yeah. Okay, so we'll do a quick check on this. Shorts on the VRM on the 12 volts, we'll see. I will leave the RAM off for now. We'll put the analyzer card in. We'll see what this actually does if it starts to boot and bleep. Should be a good ground there, okay. That's probably the ground side of it. Yeah, that's climbing up nicely. So there's no short on there. Okay. I'll just rest this back on top. Plug it in case it's looking for it. Okay. We can see the analyzer card. Just connect the power lead. Right, then we're back ready to go. Power supply on. Mains on. Will it start? No, it doesn't do anything. Okay, interesting. Switch it back on, the power supply. Nothing. Let's see if we've got standby coming off the power supply. Okay, so the standby is on the purple wire, which is over here. Power on. So we have 5 volt standby on the board. The ATX is on. Nothing happening when I hit the start. It's on the green wire. So this is the one that would trigger the ATX to start. Would normally go to ground. But it's 4.42. Doesn't do anything. Have I got a problem with the power switch, or is it in the wrong place? I thought it was correct. That's Luke. Okay. So that says power switch. Yeah. Okay. What voltage is on it? Well, that's got nothing. Oh, it's got 5. And we hit the switch. Oh, and it only goes down a little bit. There's a problem with the switch. What's on this one? Well, that's interesting because it's switching 4.75 to here. I mean, normally the power switch will actually ground. Oh, don't tell me this goes that way, does it? What have we got? Let me just see what we've got on the actual pin. So, no, that's reset. That says reset and that says power. This has nothing on it. That has 5 on it. And if we short them, well, it doesn't start. Okay. Nothing. But this was giving me some very strange reading on the actual switch itself. Well, this is interesting. I mean, if I look on the pins, I have 0 volts on this end, and I have 5 volts on that end. If I short them together, it does what the switch does. It goes to 4.75. So it's like pulling this one up, which that's very strange. I mean, I've never seen a motherboard that does that, to be quite honest. They would, normally speaking, ground that pin. I'm not saying some different SIO couldn't work that way. You know, it's a Winbond chip. That's a fairly normal sort of chip to find. Very dusty, but I don't think the dust is going to cause the problem. Just clean it off. Power it back on again. What we got down here? Okay, let's have a look. Well, I've never seen one that does that before, but hey, learn something every day, I guess. But it's possible there's something really weirdly wrong with the chipset here, because that shouldn't do that yet. That should ground. I mean, this pin, I'm pretty confident will go back to this chip. Maybe not directly, but very much so. Interesting. So ohms range, you would expect one end of the switch would go to ground. Doesn't. 4.6k. 400 ohms. So we've got a CMOS battery. Just discharged, yeah, 0.6. So let's put another one in. Right, that's 3.2. Standby on. Oh, now it tried to start. But shut back down again. Okay. Standby is still there, so the power supply hasn't shut down. Okay. Switch the power supply off. That's the green wire to the ATX. Back on. Just hit the switch. Okay, goes to ground. It tries to start, then stops. Interesting. Let's just look at the low side MOSFETs on this VRM. Is there a short down there? Let's see. So ohms range. Let's have a look. Reads well into the ohms ranges. What we got, which is the low side anyway. That one reads about 22 ohms. That's probably the CPU. Take it out. Yep, going higher now. So that is probably also powering this chip as well. Yeah, that'd be the CPU. I'd just like to see how much current's being drawn from this. If there's a problem with the SIO, it may well be that it's drawing more than about 10 microamps from here, and that would give us a good indication we actually have a faulty SIO here. Let's have a look. So microamps onto the battery, push the clip back. 5.49 microamps, that seems okay. Let's go again. So power on. Hit the start button. Quick flashing off it goes. If I hit the start button again, nothing happens, okay. But I still have standby. Power the power supply off, hit the button, that should probably just go to 0, you would think. It's dropped away anyway. Okay. Power supply back on. Okay. Hit the start, I think the same thing will happen again. Yeah, exactly the same thing happens again. Right, so what voltage do I see down here now the CMOS battery's in? Just a bit curious. Okay, so this end has got nothing. That's got nothing. Switch the power supply on. That's 5. That end now is 0. Okay, 5, hit the button. That is to 4.93. And it does it again if I do it again. So obviously the SIO works in a different way on this motherboard, but something's stopping this from booting up. You would think probably a short somewhere on one of the derived voltage rails. Let's see if we can find anything. I don't see any short related to the CPU, but we can take that out and see if it'll start or behave differently. I'm not quite sure exactly what it would do without the CPU, but power on. Okay, so the problem was on the CPU or the CPU power supply. Back in. And now it starts. What does that tell you? Guys. Yeah, what does that tell you? Tells you Richard's got magic fingers. That's what it tells you. Okay. Interesting mystery. That's very interesting about the way this start button triggers the voltage. I've never seen that before. Have you guys ever come across that? Okay, so it's bleeping like there's no tomorrow. Sorry, no, it's bleeping like there's no RAM, but there is a tomorrow. C1 saying RAM problem. Let's find some RAM. Okay, pretty sure these are good sticks of RAM. We'll try each slot in turn, see what happens. Okay, first one, power on. Goes to a different area, which could be RAM related. Try another one. That's booting further, so it's like there's a RAM issue. I'll clean these slots. Okay, give them a clean, let's see. Well, it certainly gets a bit further now. I'll put the graphics card in and see if that helps any. I'll also just try the other slots as well first, just to see if they all behave the same now. Looks like it. I mean, it's not bleeping, but, you know, I wouldn't totally say that's unusual sometimes with motherboards. That slot it still doesn't like. Now it does. So, okay, so they all go to A7. I'm just going to try another stick of RAM as well. Okay. No, that goes further. That's more like it. 2B. Right, graphics card. So this is the one that came with it. WinBond. That's the ROM actually. A5PG. That's what it seems to be. Bit dirty. No other real number. Seems a very generic sort of thing. So A5PG version 1. Put the monitor onto VGA, power it up. Well, it's booting. It's gone past that. Let's see if we get a picture. The lights on the monitor. MSI. Okay, so this one does boot. A little bit of messing around, just dirty contacts, I think, really. Very interesting how it was behaving with that CPU, but hey, something else we've seen, maybe we'll know in future. Okay, let's see if this is worth anything now I've actually got it to run. eBay. So this is an 845 Pro 2. I think I have seen these boards before. Okay, just try that as it is. Somebody wants £210 for one. That's something completely different. Okay. So I'm obviously picking up this elite boot thing a lot. Let me put the word like motherboard on here as well, okay, just to narrow down the search a little bit. What do we have? Well, just the one, which is boxed, but they want £210 for that. I mean, is that realistic? Well, that's a different board. That's a different board. So these are all different boards. It's not the same one I have, but that is more the price I would expect, to be quite honest. That's a very similar one, 845PE max. Okay, and again, the price I would have expected. Advanced, let's see what the sold listings tell us. Well, they tell us that there aren't any that are sold, but similar sort of motherboards are sort of going for that sort of price. Okay, so I think that gives us an idea. £40 is probably about right. As for the graphics card, A5PG, then we'll put AGP. Okay, I think it's a very generic thing and probably not of any value at all. Non-sold, back into the regular listings, A5PG, just put that. I'll add AGP again. Okay, so no, not really. I'll just put that into Google and just see if it says anything about it. Expert 2000 Pro. The VGA card is very powerful. But it's all in like Chinese, okay, or something similar. Okay guys, so working motherboard, mystery graphics card, it does say 32 meg, A5PG, but I don't really find anything much about that thing. I seriously doubt this is of any value at all, okay, but we can look at something else and that might be worth something, yeah. And now for something completely different, or it could be something very much the same. Okay, so another PC, physically smaller. Hospital San Rox. Let's get it from a hospital. I wonder if the hard drive's on it. Out of interest. Has 4 USBs down here. Could well be newer than the previous machine actually. Could be another Pentium 4 machine. Let's have a look. What do we have? Well, we have no hard drive in it. We have no processor in it, unless it's kind of like attached to the heatsink, which is here. We have a lot of bed fluff in it, for sure. Obviously, maybe somebody's taken the CPU out and the hard drive out because that's where all the data is going to be stored. Yeah, do you think maybe? Little sanitary covers on the PCI, and there's no AGP in this machine, but that looks like certainly a socket 478. Very funny looking thing there and there. So we appear to have a P4 motherboard with no AGP. Okay, onboard graphics. Interesting. I'll take this motherboard out. Let's get a closer look at this one as well. This says a few interesting things on top of it, and one says Fuji Computed Radiography Control Unit. So that's what this thing actually is, yeah. You guys ever seen one of those before, yeah? Well, here's the motherboard. These are these very strange connectors that are on this thing. Never seen such a thing as that before. Says DVO. 14 DVO1. Oh, P14 DVO1. And this one DVO2. What the hell is that? What is that? Okay. I did find the CPU. It was rattling around in the machine underneath the motherboard. That's where it actually was. Quite a few bent pins on there. 2.88 gigahertz. Pentium 4. How bad are these pins? Yeah. I've probably got another suitable CPU I could put in there, so I could just spend a little bit of time straightening these. I mean, these are not too difficult to straighten, basically. You just have to get out something like a pair of long-nosed pliers and quite literally get a hold of them. You can do this with tweezers, but they might be a bit stiff. Okay. You can see there it's coming straight. So straightening pins on a CPU is not difficult, a little bit time consuming maybe. Okay. But certainly not difficult. This honestly depends on how much time you've got spare, basically, yeah. Okay. So they're fairly straight there. How many more order on this are actually bent? Let's have a look. Oh, that was a bit kinked. But we can probably straighten that up. This is a lot better with an optical microscope, by the way. I'm doing this on the overhead just to help you guys by showing you how to do it, which means I'll probably make a pig's ear of it because I prefer to have some stereo vision when I'm doing this. Sometimes something like this will help as well. Okay. Okay, just a little bit of patience, it's in. That's how you straighten pins on CPUs. Okay. I have the board ready to connect up, basically. Analyzer cards in, just quick check to see there's no short circuits on here. No, that's fine. Okay. This has a strange connector for the power button. It's not like a normal one. It's there, okay. I noticed there was two wires attached to this from the wire coming from the ATX case, so I know which ones they are at least. A little bit strange. I mean, there's a few strange things about this. I honestly don't know what these things are. So, power this on. See if it'll start. No, it doesn't start at all. Okay. Another one. No sign of life. Five volt standby is present. That's the one that triggers the ATX to start. Oh, it worked. I must have had a bad connection, basically. So it has started up, but it's not booting at all. Okay. Ah, probably because I forgot to connect this one. That'll do that, yeah. Okay. Happens, guys. So we'll connect this. Power back on again. Let's try again. So same thing. Power's on but doesn't boot at all. Okay. The CMOS battery, I'm guessing this is completely drained. Let's have a look. Yeah. Oh, actually it's just below 3, but that's flat, yeah. Anything less than 3 is no good. Okay, new one. More than 3. Right, what's it do now? I'll use the end of the meter probe to start. I don't think that screwdriver is very good. Oh, it comes on by itself now. Doesn't start. Okay. So, take the RAM out. Same. Okay. This CPU is the one with all the bent pins on. I'm sure enough I got it in there. I think it's warming up as well. So V core is up, but it just doesn't start. All these capacitors look fine. Can we switch it off by using the switch? No, it looks like we can't, so effectively the SIO, which should be starting this, has no control over it, so I can't shut it down. That's not a good sign, but it's obviously getting quite a way into the power on sequence because V-core is up. V-core wouldn't be up until quite a long way into the process. The next thing being that the reset comes off this CPU and it runs basically, okay? I could try another CPU, I'm pretty sure I have one. Okay, so I've got another CPU here. This is a slightly slower one, 2.53, but it's still the same front side buzz, 533. So I'm expecting this should boot as well in this, really. Let's have a look. Okay, what's it do? So power on. And this one is booting. Something's happening. It's gone to A0, A0. So it looks like that other one is probably no good, even though the pins look okay. Unless I've missed one somewhere. Put something RAM. This is the RAM that came with it. Okay. Go again. Now it just switched off. Okay, put the RAM in, it switched on and switched off. And done the same. Put the RAM back out. Now it's switching on and switching off, but I haven't done anything. I've just tried some RAM in it. Yeah, you guys saw that. RAM. Power's on, power's off. Okay. This is like a bad connection on this board somewhere because I've tried flexing it. No. 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 Resistance. There's no short on the core. Okay. Check that out. Power's on and power's off. Same. Put the CPU back in. Okay. Power's on, power's off. So just by plugging some RAM into this, apparently now it doesn't even power up anymore. Is this because it stopped powering on by itself. You know, like it was previously switching on automatically without me having to put the switch on. Yeah, let's just try. So on off. Yeah, let's just do like this. No. Standby is up, so the power supply hasn't shut down. That's high. Okay. Doesn't start. I think something down here is hot. Let's get the thermal camera. Just wipe the screen a little bit. Okay. Camera. Wow. That regulator down there is really hot. It's not saying sort of, yeah, 47, 46, 47 degrees, 47. Anything else getting hot on here? No, it's only 34. 35. 36. That is generating some heat, I tell you. 48 degrees, this thing here. What voltages do we see on that? So 2. 3.3. 5. This is a 3.3 volt rail. What's a CMOS battery reading? That's still reading 3.3. That shouldn't be getting that hot, guys. Not when the thing's in standby. Yeah, it shouldn't be getting that hot. So something's drawing too much power from the 3.3 volts when the thing's in standby, which says to me, chipset. Chipset. Also, these two chips here are getting quite warm when it's in standby. Not stupidly hot, but certainly warm. It's like something's curled up and died on here, but it's a bit... In fact, it's very strange. It's very strange, guys. What's the current being drawn from the CMOS? Switch the power supply off. Microamps. Okay. What's the current draw? Oh, it's too much. Milliamps. Yeah. About 1.3 milliamps. Guys, that's too much. This has an SIO problem, and would you believe it, the stupid things come on when I powered it up from the power supply. But I don't have a picture. Yeah, nothing there. RAM. Okay. Power's on and power's off again, the same as before. Okay, All the evidence on this one says there is a chipset problem. Look at that. Take the battery out, it comes on. Still doesn't boot and give me a picture, but here's basically booting. It's giving me a picture. NEC. Put the CMOS battery back in. This time it starts. Switch it off again. Back on. That is about the bizarrest thing I've ever seen a motherboard do. I'm not sure where to begin with that one. I mean, this is a very strange thing anyway. It's not like exactly a regular motherboard. Probably isn't worth going further with that, unless you guys have got some good suggestions why I should. Yeah. And to what could be going on with it, because you saw yourself how it was behaving is just not right. Yeah. I mean, now it powers up reliably. Yeah, go figure that one. Okay, I don't see any... Oh, I do see a number, G7GWX. So let's see if we can find anything out about this motherboard. Well, nothing comes up on eBay. Okay, that's the first thing we can say. We can go to the sold listings, sold, search. Again, nothing comes up. We can just try Google. G7GWX. Let's put motherboard. Give it a chance to narrow that down a little bit. And nothing comes up. Okay. So, this time, guys, I seem to have found something rare. I mean, Google knows nothing about this from what I can see. But rare doesn't make valuable. Yeah, rare does not make valuable. So, I don't think it's actually worth anything just because it's a peculiar motherboard. Pentium 4 with no AGP. It's also not exactly working in what I would call reliable fashion either. So, I think that's a bit of an anomaly. Maybe you know. You might know about this. So, the comments below, get in there, let us know. I look forward to hearing from you all, and I also look forward to seeing you soon again on Learning Electronics Repair. Bleep, bleep. Ciao for now, guys.